fortunate enough to have my very own, very humiliating experience dealing with stand-up comedy a couple of weeks ago. And it was the time that I single-handedly ruined the benefit gala for Veterans Against War. So this is a couple weeks ago. So my friend booked me for this thing. It was a benefit gala for two organizations, Veterans Against War and Emergency USA. And Emergency USA is sort of like Doctors Without Borders. They build hospitals in war-torn countries, things like that. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll do it. That sounds awesome, right? So I get there, and it's this beautiful, I think it's the Fourth Presbyterian Church downtown. They built this multi-million-dollar complex, like right next door is this beautiful place. And I get inside, and the tables are done up so beautifully, you know, with the tablecloths and everything. And my friend was there, and she tells me, "Oh, I'll tell you what you're doing in a second." So I'm kind of getting my bearings, looking at the beautiful tables, and they have beautiful flower arrangements, but this should have been my first sign, really, is that all the food was like really, there were like baby carrots with like no dip, and like Triscuits and like Colby Jack cheese. I was like, that was it, right? There was like nothing else. And I told my friends about this later, and they were like, "Oh my God, Midwestern Gala!" And I was like, "Yeah, it totally was a Midwestern Gala." So here I am at the Midwestern Gala. My friend comes up to me and she tells me, "Okay, so there are 3 acts booked tonight for the entertainment. We're going to go up about halfway through the show, about 8 o'clock." And so she tells me that I am one of 3. I am the only stand-up comic of the evening, and just wait for it. And I'm sandwiched between 2 other acts. The first act is a girl who's playing the ukulele who has never played in public before, and then a guy who writes these gay anthems, and we'll get to that later. So, so I'm the only stand-up. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, it's fine. So I sit down, and then they start the evening, and the MC is like this woman who's like, she's like 70 years old if she's a day. She's clearly never even held a mic before in her life. She was like, "Somebody told me I needed to get on this thing and do this," so she's MCing, right? There's not a laugh for the first 45 minutes of this whole goddamn thing, and the whole time, I'm going like, I'm the only one. She's like thanking people and nobody's clapping. Like, this is not good, right? So she's like, so I'm sitting there going, "Woo!" And I actually said, "Let's get this party started!" Someone's gotta laugh here, man. Someone's gotta clap, someone's gotta show some life. So, okay, so there's that. So then she's like, "Let's bring the first presenter up." So this guy gets up, and he is the one from Emergency USA, the war-torn countries hospital guy. He gets up, and he does his presentation, and he shows a video of open heart surgery for a girl in the Sudan. Right? It's really sad and really graphic. I had to like take out my baby carrots. I was like, I can't deal with this. Most of these people are like nurses and vets, like they've seen it all, right? And I'm just like, oh, okay. So I'm like, okay, all right. So that's the first presenter, right? So then that happens, and then the MC gets up, and she's like, "Let's bring up the second presenter." Second presenter gets up, and this is the guy from Veterans Against the War. So he also shows a video. He shows that video of, the NATO protests where everyone's getting up and like hurling their fucking medals. It's like, more power to them, right? But it's definitely like not funny, right? I was like, oh shit, man, this is like some serious shit. And I was kind of like, yeah, this is great. Go, fight the power. But then I was like, somebody save me. And so then, that happens, and then he says that 1/3 of all women in the military are sexually assaulted. And then a girl gets up who is a vet, who's been in the military, and she was sexually assaulted. And she gets up and she starts telling her story, and she's crying, and I'm like ready to cry, because I'm like, oh my God, this is really not funny. It's like nothing funny about that, oh my God. So then I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know how I can do this, right? And then the MC gets up and she's like, "Now it's time for the question and answer period." So all the people get up. The guy from Emergency USA, the guy from Veterans Against the War, and the girl who'd been raped get up, and they take questions from the audience. And And everyone in the audience, they're these vets, right? And they all start to get up and they start to tell their stories and they start to pour their hearts out about the war and everything. And I'm just like, this is not good, dude. This is so not good. Like, my heart is pounding in my chest. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And so then I see my stupid friend. She is scrawling on a piece of paper like, we need to get the entertainment going. And I'm like, no. Do you know what I mean? No. And she, before I can even do anything, she gets up. It's like in slow motion. I'm like, no. She gets up. She gets to the front. She hands the note to the girl, the woman, she's not a girl, who's doing the emceeing. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I see this woman get the note. And she gets really flustered, right? She's like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh my God. And so, and so everyone's still testifying, whatever, and then and then this old man gets up, and he's a Vietnam vet. And when I was a kid, they weren't that old, right? They were like my parents' dads or whatever, and my friends' dads, parents, whatever. And he's like old, this old man with a cane. He gets up and he starts to talk about being in the war, and it's just like so heart-wrenching, right? And this MC starts to rush him because she's got this note, right? She's like, okay, and come on, the guy is like so old. He's like the sweetest old man. And I'm thinking, oh my God, could you just let the man finish? Can you just let him finish talking? Just let the man talk. Just let the old man with the cane finish what he's got to say, And then so she's rushing him and she goes, well, okay, we need to get, and I was just like, oh God. And then she goes, we need to get the entertainment going. So I didn't know what to do, right? And basically it's all downhill from there because the first thing is the girl gets up and plays the ukulele and you guys, it's really bad. And then I got up and I was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, do I do my set, or do I throw my friend under the bus and just be like, which is what I probably should have done. But I was like, just say, you guys are great, what you're doing here is wonderful, thank you so much, and have a good night. Honestly, you guys, clearly the event was over, when she said, put that note up, we were running long already. It was like 9 o'clock, and we were supposed to get up at 8, and it was like, everyone should just do the silent auction and go the fuck home, So, okay, I did my set. Bad decision, all right? I could tell. It was really bad. And then, after me, I sit down, and then the guy gets up to play the gay anthems, and he's not a veteran, he's just like a guy, and he's like, I heard gay anthems, and he starts playing it's okay to be gay, none of us should have been there. We were not appropriate for the event at all. It was so humiliating. So I sit back down in my seat, right, while this guy's playing. Sit back down in my seat, and my friend, she gives me ice. She doesn't look at me. This is how bad it went, right? I'm not even going to tell you the jokes I did. It was so humiliating. I'm talking about my dad who's a coke addict. It was really wrong. And dealer. It wasn't good. And so I sit back down. She doesn't say anything to me. She doesn't talk to me. She doesn't look at me. After the entertainment was done, then it was time for the silent auction. And she doesn't, the rest of the time she doesn't say thank you for coming. Nothing, right? So I was just like, man. So I just got my stuff and I was like, I'm just gonna try to get out of here, without any incident, just try to sneak out, right? So I'm leaving the doors of the church and I've got my head down, I've got my hat on, I'm just like, please God, just let me get over this, right? And I hear a voice behind me say, thanks for the jokes. And I turn around, and it's the rape girl, you guys! I was like, I literally did not know what to say, right? I'm kind of speechless now. I was like, you should see me then. I was like, I literally did this. I was like, I did that. Literally did that. I was like, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? I was like, oh, you did good too. Thanks for the girl who had been through so much, it suddenly dawned on me that she was feeling sorry for me.